Hi, Aquarius. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today I'm here to discuss the Sagittarius full moon, which is Sunday, May 31st. That's here in the States, and it's at 1:45 a.m. So please check for your time around the world. Actually, 1:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, all right? And so, Aquarius, this is going to be for your sun, moon, and rising. And yeah, let's get right into it. Sagittarius full moon is taking place in your 11th house of future aspirations. This is your house of like-minded people and friends, social groups, and also the house of gains. And this is, with regard to your hopes and wishes. But the house of gains, usually from the 10th house of career, which is in Scorpio for you, right? So I have you here on the ascendant, so you can see the chart, and what I'm doing here, and so here for you, the full moon is on the axis of the intellect. It's called the intellectual axis because Gemini rules the mind and Sagittarius rules the higher mind, like God and religion, higher realms and purpose, growth and expansion. So that is the difference there. We need both. We definitely do. We can't do anything without Gemini because that is how we, walk around every day and walk over and get, a glass of water and, do our life, right? So we're there. But for you, it is in your fifth house and your 11th, right? Excuse me. So the fifth house is the house of the heart. Everything that you do from the heart, it's about love and sex, your talents, your creativity, fun, children, everything that is associated with the heart and your self-expression, kind of how you show yourself to the world, or just your kind of your personality, your self-expression, your self-identity, can be, also how you see yourself, how you shine, because that is the fifth house, which in the natural chart is ruled by the sun or Leo. Okay. Leo is about self-expression, all the way, right? So we have the sun there in your fifth house. And so this is about the personal, basically, the fifth house. And the 11th house is about the collective, like-minded groups of people. And, social, sometimes the 11th house is about social change because it's the future and the social aspect there, right? Community, but it can be like world community as well. So we have that here. And Sagittarius or Jupiter is the ruler of the full moon. It is in your 11th house, as I said. And the Jupiter is also ruling your second house of well-being. So, and material comfort. So this is it's a house of money, it's a house of self-worth, but everything that is, for your well-being, really. And that is in Pisces. So, that full moon is making a square to the North Node, which is, don't pay attention to the AC and the MC. These have been moved around because I put you on the ascendant, okay? But everything else is correct, and the degrees, everything else is here proper, right? So, but we have that south node there, and the south node is being squared by the full moon. And I mean the north node, I beg your pardon. The north node is where we are going. It is associated with our higher purpose and fate and destiny. It is the unknown, though. And they call it that because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? The south node is we know everything that happened here basically is connected to what we're moving away from. It's the familiar that can limit us. It is, it can be past lives or anything like that. Not saying that past lives don't have any meaning in our life. That's not really what I'm saying. But the North Node is where we're going, right? So we have that square from the full moon. And that is asking you to make an adjustment for something that can either bring you more financial gain or more well-being. It's either really either or, right? And so we have that there, and we have Black Moon Lilith, which is in a conjunction with the full moon there, and that is our shadow. So it's in a loose conjunction, but that's okay. It's still there. And Lilith is kind of pulling a lot of strings with this full moon, and that is the shadow. It's something that you need to face and just kind of face and accept and move away from, really, right? Or overcome. The shadow is, associated with ego and fear, and sometimes not feeling like you can actually, like fear, like you can't do what you want to do, um, because you're being blocked, right, by this fear. But it can have to do with addictions and vices. It's very psychological. It's actually associated with the eighth house, but it is about ego, especially in the lower sense, right? The lower expression, of course. So we have that making these trines to your third house of ideas, your third house of thinking, and the moon is doing it too. And it's beautiful though, because the full moon is, the trine is making it very flowy for you to honestly move into new ideas, because this moon is into your, or new goals, and act on new goals and new ideas, right? Um, Plans, skills, and also willpower. Yeah, that can really help you with willpower here. This third house is also about business, sales, anything of thinking or communication or of the mind, the written word as well. But we have that there, and Saturn, your ruler, is being trined by the full moon. Saturn is here, and this trine is supporting your structure, your resilience, your patience about these goals or skills or whatever idea this may be. Okay, Pallas Athena is there and is uh, asking you to pay attention to your emotional patterns. All right, because this can help you have more wisdom in your life, bring you more wisdom. You can gain more wisdom and, use more strategy in your life. And, this can be the house of strategy as well because it's thinking. So yeah, and your own Saturn is ruling your 12th house of endings. So something's going by the wayside here, or or being sacrificed or released, most likely, all right? Um, and now we have, did we talk about, yeah, so we didn't talk about Mercury yet, because Mercury is the ruler of the sun in your house of the heart, and Mercury is ruling your eighth house of transformation. So we see endings here, right? We see, or you're going to transform something, or you're letting something, or something will change. And, but that is also a money house, and that is your house of anything that is hidden from you. It's a very hidden house. Yeah, it is. And so, um, yeah, so it is also the house of like seeing beneath the veil, using your intuition, really seeing things that might have been hidden before, right? The full moon can illuminate those things, and we have the full moon making a square to part of fortune and the south node. So that square also yeah, we can also say that Lilith is making a square here, a little looser square, but that square is actually asking you to make an adjustment and, especially to the south node, leave behind things that are maybe of a dark psychological nature, because that house rules psychological themes, dark themes. So very deep things. They don't always have to be dark, but deep and intense. So leave those behind. And because the full moon wants to bring you some well-being here, it does. It is squaring this. Squares are a little challenging, but they're simply asking us to make an adjustment, all right? And the full moon can just kind of sometimes take us into that adjustment big time, right? Because it can bring an ending or a culmination. You also have, and Mercury's ruling this house. So it's important, all right? This is the house of intimate relationships and shared money and assets, other people's money, right? Which real estate, your husband's money, 401ks. I mean, there's a huge list, right? But we also have part of fortune there. Part of fortune is how you thrive. Part of fortune is the kind of mix between your sun, moon, and your rising. Yeah, very cool, right? And so we have that in the eighth house of transformation there, regeneration. But that really means what makes you thrive. That's it. And so something is helping you thrive if you move away from it. Yeah, right here, because we have part of fortune next to the south node, which can be limited, can be linked to limiting things that limit us, lack, the past, and things that are just so familiar to us that we need to grow. We need to kind of grow away from that and have something new or move toward our higher purpose, which is the North Node. So, yeah, and we do have Mars here, and Jupiter. Let's talk about Jupiter though, because Jupiter, as I did say, it is in your sixth house of, excuse me, of health, work, And also, this is the house of work and service, health and wellness, and also daily routines or daily obstacles. It can be like lifestyle obstacles. It's the house of your habits, your patterns, your daily routines, and obstacles. So here we have Jupiter there showing you something about your daily life or, these other sixth house matters. And it's making a square to Chiron in your third house. Um, yeah. And so that Chiron there is a wound that you're carrying. It is here with Saturn. And no, they're not conjoined because they're, Chiron's moving out of Aries into your fourth house of, but we have that Jupiter making that square to Chiron. So Jupiter wants you to kind of grow and expand and understand some type of wisdom from some type of life experience here that you have had. And Chiron is the wound that we carry where we sabotage ourselves. It's in the sign of the self, and in your house of the mind, really. So, but that square is asking you to let that go. Let it go, whatever it is, insecurity, vulnerability, whatever it may be, so you can grow and expand. And the full moon is helping you do that. All right. And we'll talk about Mars here because I don't think we hit too much on Mars or Venus, but you do have Pluto in your first house, though. It's a big deal. And Pluto is making that square to Mars. Yeah. So these are both malefics. But Mars wants you to do something here. It's in detriment in your fourth house of emotional foundation or your roots, your home and family, making the square to Pluto in your first house. So something is definitely changing here, and you're being asked to definitely make some type of a change, an adjustment that has to do with your emotional foundation, or it would be, only I'd have to see your chart, right? And Mars is also making a sextile to a little bit of a loose sextile here to the North Node. And, this is kind of letting you uh, do something, letting you, like there's an opportunity here if you engage to bring more well-meaning to your life, right? Mars rules your 10th house of career and how you show yourself to the world, right? Your reputation or the authority, personal agency. And we have a lot of personal agency going on here in your house of the heart. All right. So yeah, and now, and Mars, interesting, is in detriment. It is trining your, part of fortune and the South Node here, ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of the sun. So this is very important here. The trine is supporting transformation. Mars wants something new, and it's very uncomfortable in Taurus, in detriment, in your house of um, emotions or emotional foundation. So there's something going on there. You're feeling different about something, and the moon will show you that. All right. Lastly, we have Venus. Yeah, and Venus is in your sixth house of obstacles and work and health, right? Your routines. And so Venus is in Cancer. It does enjoy being in Cancer. Venus is benefic, and it is squaring this third house to your Saturn, and yeah, and to Venus of Pallas and these other, but here when we have Venus making the square there, that is also asking you to make an adjustment about how you think about something. It can have to do with your plans and goals, right? Because we're coming from the house of work, Venus over here. And so Venus is ruling your ninth house of growth and expansion, which is everything to do with the full moon. And also Venus is ruling your fourth house where Mars is, not feeling so good there, right? Because Mars is in detriment here. But Venus here is, making that square to your third house. It's squaring your Saturn. It's really what it's saying is that, it can be saying to make an adjustment to kind of, and to be resilient. Yeah, because the square is a little challenging to have patience, make some type of an adjustment here about your life. And, Venus, Athena Pallas is here, and Athena Pallas is about our wisdom, but it's only if we notice our emotional patterns and how we, move through life. It's really important to do that, right? Um, yeah, and so. And that can help also, help you gain more wisdom because noticing those emotional patterns can, help us with strategy and, we gain more wisdom and things like that. So thank you so much, Aquarius, for joining me here today. If you've liked my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell. You'll be notified of my next upload. If you want a reading with me, I really approach the astrology readings from a place of nurturing and transformation. I mean, I would say definitely to this very cathartic, yeah, the way I approach the chart to help you grow and expand, right? I'm a Sag and I'm completely into the whole growth and expansion, right? Because that's what we need to do to help ourselves, right? Is to grow and expand and realize our purpose, right? And so that is, it's those readings are all for that. Thank you so much, Aquarius. My website is listed below, and have a good one.